is the time for all people from every land to come together. Now is the moment for worship. We enter in, withholding nothing. God's worthy, exalted, so high and lifted up. Sing, sing unto the Lord. Open up your heart. Make a joyful noise in the sanctuary. Sing, sing unto the Lord. Lavish it with love. Let our praises ring in the sanctuary. Sing. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed in the sanctuary. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed. Sing, sing, sing. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed in the sanctuary. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed. Sing, sing, sing. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed in the sanctuary. Gotta open up your mouth and sing your praise. Open up your heart and sing your praise. Lift up holy hands, unashamed. Sing, 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 sing. Sing unto the Lord. Open up your heart. Make a joyful noise in the sanctuary. Sing, sing unto the Lord. Lavish it with love. Let our praises ring in the sanctuary. Sing, sing unto the Lord. Open up your heart. Make a joyful noise in the sanctuary. Sing, sing unto the Lord. Lavish it with love. Let our praises ring in the sanctuary. Sing.
Aloha.
Aloha.
We welcome you to Unity Church of Hawaii. We're so glad you decided to join us this morning. Please stand as you are able and sing along with us when all God's children get together.
When all God's children get together, what a time, what a time, what a time. Gonna sit down by the banks of the river. What a time that will be. When all God's children sing together. What a time,
what a time,
what a time,
what a time,
what a time. All the angels in the heavens gonna join right along. What a time that will be.
Here we go.
Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock of my soul.
One more time.
Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock of my soul. When all God's children stand together. What a time,
what a time,
what a time,
what a time,
what a time. All the hearts in the world gonna rise up and sing. What a time that will be. What a time that will be.
Yes, indeed. What a time that will be. But you know what? What a time this is going to be. Yes. Outstanding. Hey, como mai. Welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii, where we centered in God. We elevate global consciousness through the realization of oneness. My name is Reverend Levitt Thomas, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be serving on the platform this morning. Unity is an all-inclusive spiritual education movement of practical Christianity. And in this all-inclusiveness, Unity honors and respects all the paths that lead to God. Unity has 5 fundamental basic principles. Number 1, God is. God is the source and creator of all things. There is no other enduring power. God is good, and God is everywhere present. Number 2, I am. We are spiritual beings created in the image and likeness of God. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. Number 3, think it. Think it. Folks, we, you, me, us, we are responsible for our life experiences through the way we think. We're responsible. Don't like your life? Change your thinking. 4, pray it. In Unity, we absolutely know there is power in affirmative prayer. And it is this power that gives us a greater understanding and awareness of God. And friends, the most important principle, that is, do it. Do it. Knowing these principles intellectually is not enough. We must live them. Unity is a way of living. It is a way of living, and we must live truth as we know it to be. And a way of doing that, there's tools. And one of the tools us Unitics love to use is affirmations. Affirmations of truth. So let's see if I can come up with one. We'll try one on for size. Okay. Spirit is awesome. If you would be so kind as to repeat after me with zelocity. I am blessed. Divine wisdom and divine understanding shows me the way so I can be who I have come here to be. Absolutely. Let's breathe into that. Because you are here. You have infinite potential. And you are here to be who you have come here to be. And in that is the abundant life. And in the spirit of unity, we are all one. We are love. It is our essence of being. I'd like to invite you now to stand as you are able. And as you are comfortable, please greet one of those around you in love.
Please remain standing as you are able and sing with us our congregational song.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can help me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and
Thank you, Zamar. Oh, that was awesome. And we welcome all of you home. Wherever you are from, wherever you live, we welcome you home. Welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii. If this is your first time or first time in a long time, I want you to know that I'd love the opportunity to visit with you personally. And after the service, if you would like, the ushers will escort you up to the front of the line so that we can meet and visit. I just appreciate all of you being here. If this is your first time or first time in a long time, we have a kukui nut lei, and we also have a packet of information, including a free breakfast pass. We have a wonderful breakfast out here. So, if first time or first time in a long time, if you would please stand, we're ready and waiting. We'd love to give you a gift. Look at them. And please remain standing. Please remain standing. And we have some right here and back here. They're all over here. So, yeah, if you could get your... And right behind you, Joy, behind you are some. Right here. It is so good to have all of you here. So good to have you all here. And Mari, if you could go to your right here. Thank you. There's two people here. It is such a joy to have you all here. Thank you. And we want to give you a blessing. We want to give you a blessing, and there you go. Don't want to leave out Jade. All right. It's so good to get those to you all. Have a lot of new people or first time in a long time. We want you to know that we love you. We love you just the way you are. And so we're going to give you a blessing, knowing that this is your spiritual home. One of the people I met today said, I'm looking for a really good church home. And I said, congratulations. You know, so we want to congratulate you on your decision to be here. So as we extend our hands, repeat after me. We bless you. We love you just the way you are. Because the way you are is how God is showing up this morning. We celebrate you. We love you. Welcome to Unity. Let's give them some love, please. Thank you. Thank you. And I know we have some love streamers that are watching us from all over the world. We give you a shaka. We send our love and blessings. And we just know that wherever you are, God is. Wherever you are part of this sacred ohana. You are one of us. You're not just distant somewhere. God is right where you are, and we welcome you to this loving ohana, knowing that we are one with you, and we welcome you, whether you're watching on Alelo television, if you're love streaming on our website, or if you've archived this later on our website, or watching us on the New Thought channel. We welcome you and we love you. Thank you all for being here today.
Yes. And now for the most exciting time of your day, the announcements. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll be here for the rest of my life. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., we'll be serving meals down at the IHS. It is a wonderful way to serve a hot meal to some folks who are in need. If you would like to be a part of this extraordinary experience, please see Tony Barron. She's right here, this lovely woman here in the front. It's a great experience. If you'd like to be a part of serving some hot meals to some folks, please see her. And no eating, by the way, either. I have yet to be asked back. I didn't get that in the memo. Well, look at me. I mean, come on. Deja Vu, our wonderful boutique store, is having a Christmas in July celebration. It is happening Thursday, the 20th of July, to Sunday, the 23rd of July. Their hours Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and on Sunday, 9 to 1:30. So check out their celebration for Christmas in July. And you guys realize we're going to be 80 years old in October? Unity Church of Hawaii is going to celebrate 80 years in Hawaii. Thank you, Marie Hanley. And we're going to have a wonderful 80th anniversary makahiki. Save the dates in your bulletin. You'll find some really cool things happening. They are listed in your bulletin, and also the details are down at Connection Central. Those smart folks down there will tell you all about it. And I think there's a ticket involved somewhere along the line. So please check out Connection Central for the 80th anniversary makahiki. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it big. And now Rev Tim has a special announcement.
Hi, Reverend Tim has a special announcement, and that is that the membership class, it's called Unity 101. What you always wanted to know about Unity, but were afraid to ask. Maybe you just would like to know more about Unity. You may not be interested in membership. Maybe you're already a member, but you'd like to get my spin on it. We'll be going over Unity basic beliefs, our philosophy, our history. So that will be the last Sunday of July, the first Sunday of August. We will meet at 1 o'clock here in the chapel. It'll go from 1 until 3. And those of you who are love streaming, we're also going to love stream these classes. Okay, so be with us. That's the last Sunday of July and the first Sunday of August. And I don't remember if that's live on Facebook. I'm trying to remember all the details. Live on Facebook, right? So we just welcome you here, and just know that we would love to have you come to that class. Thank you.
Now let's settle in for a time of prayer.
Holy words, well preserved for our walk in this world. They resound with God's own heart. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Words of life, words of hope, give us strength, help us hope. In this world, where'er we roam, ancient words will guide us home. Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts, oh let the ancient words impart. Holy words of our faith, handed down to this age, came to us through sacrifice. Oh, heed the faithful words of Christ. Holy words, long preserved for our walk in this world, they resound with God's own heart. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart.
The native language of Jesus was Aramaic, and the Lord's Prayer was originally spoken in Aramaic. This English version comes from the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. You may or may not have seen it before, but it's printed up on the monitor behind us. So let us, from our hearts, say this ancient prayer together. Father, Mother, birther and breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire then acts through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us physical and spiritual nourishment each day. Untangle the knots of error that bind us as we release others. Don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. Age to age, from you comes the glorious harmony of life. May these statements be fertile ground from which our future grows.
Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart.
Now let us prepare for our time of prayer and meditation. Johanna Kelly will lead us.
Thank you. Let us take this time to center in to our oneness with not only ourselves, but with each other, and of course the one true source, God. Today's daily word for Sunday, July 16th is divine order. The affirmation goes, I am divinely imprinted with all that I need to succeed. Let us say this statement of truth together. I am divinely imprinted with all that I need to succeed. The message continues. An acorn carries within it the imprint of its destiny to become a mighty oak tree. Within me lies the imprint of my heart's desires and the imprint of my sacred lineage. Spiritual order proceeds from within to the outer. I reflect on the divinity that permeates me, my source of strength and new ideas. As clearly as I see the potential of the oak tree and the acorn, I see that all that I desire to be and to have arising from the divine imprint in me. My faith in God life moving through every cell of my being propels me ever forward, first as the idea and then the expression. I do not worry about when or how the process unfolds. I trust divine order in my life. And today's scripture comes from Mark chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. The kingdom of God is as if someone would scatter seed on the ground, and the seed would sprout and grow. He does not know how. I am divinely imprinted with all that I need to succeed. That concludes today's daily word. Friends, let us now take this time to center in, breathing in deep through our nose, exhaling fully, parting our lips, exhaling fully. And I invite you to take your bulletin, and inside of it is our wellness list. It's a list that we provide to the community just so we can hold the consciousness of those that need our prayers, that need God's guidance. We also ask that you keep our dear Reverend Tracy in your heart, in your mind, as she provides support to her mother. And finally, we ask that you say a special prayer for those individuals that were affected by the Marco Polo fire this past Friday, knowing that with each one of these people, God's people, that Spirit dwells within them, that the Christ abides within. We ask now that consciousness be lifted to the divine idea, to the restoration of order in each one of these circumstances. Breathing in deeply through the nose, breathing in light, love, wisdom, then fully exhaling, giving it back freely to the world. And as we take our dearly beloved people into our sacred time, our sacred communion with God, let us know that divine order is in order, that God is making any crooked place straight for each one involved as we go into the silence. Breathing in deeply through the nose, exhaling fully the peace of God, giving thanks for this sacred time. And in that consciousness and oneness, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Are those your eyes? Is that your smile? Well, I've been looking at you forever, but I never saw you till now, the Christ in you.
Now I realize the change that's happened in me. For the first time, I am looking in your eyes. For the first time, I see the light you are. I do believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. How I understand what love is. Love is for the first time. Can this be real? Can this be true? Am I the person I was this morning? And are you the one I knew? It's all so clear. Yes, it can be. All along the truth was right in front of me. For the first time, I am looking in your eyes. For the first time, I see the light you are. I do believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. Now I understand what love is. Love is for the first time. Just a short time ago, I had given God my love and devotion willingly. I'm overflowing with God's love, shining light everywhere as I open my heart to God. For the first time, I am looking through God's eyes. Then for the first time, I see the light you are. I now believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. And I understand what love is. Love is for the first
Thanks, Guy. Thank you, Guy. It is so good to see all of you here, and we welcome those of you who are new. What we are looking at this month is the power of understanding. Thank you. The power of understanding. The power of understanding is that power to know that you know, that internal intuitive sense that no one can teach you. It's already there. As was talked about earlier, it's already imprinted upon us. That wisdom, that understanding is already there. What we're looking at today is living as a practical mystic. And what do I mean by the word mystic? Mysticism, and this comes from Wikipedia, says, mysticism is popularly known as becoming one with God or the absolute, but may refer to any kind of ecstasy or altered state of consciousness which is given a religious or spiritual meaning. So, it's about what we teach at Unity all the time. We teach about oneness with the divine, that none of us are separate from one another. when Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore were starting this movement as a prayer movement, he was sitting in meditation and other people were sitting around him. He was going very deep in meditation. Everyone was in the silence. And suddenly said, "Unity!" Yeah, they're like, "What?" "Unity, it shall be called unity." Because it's about our oneness with God, our oneness with one another, that there is no such thing as separation or division. So, we live as practical mystics. We don't just live with our heads in the clouds, once in a while. But we have to pay the bills, we have to clean the house, we have to, do the things that people do. But we do it from a different motivation, from an inner motivation. Now, I want to share with you, Mahatma Gandhi is one of the spiritual mentors in my life. Mahatma Gandhi, was one of those pioneers in India that helped to bring about independence to the country of India. And he said, "I believe in the absolute oneness of God, and therefore also of humanity. What though? We have many bodies, but we have but one soul. The rays of the sun are many through refraction, but they have the same source. I cannot, therefore, detach myself from the wickedest soul, nor may I be denied identity with the most virtuous." And I have a few quotes here from Eckhart Tolle. Any of you familiar with Eckhart Tolle? Okay, good. Like The Power of Now. He says, "Was Jesus the Son of God? Yes, but so are you. You just haven't realized it yet." He goes on to say, "The world is not here to make you happy. It's here to make you conscious." Now, I believe when we become conscious, we experience our true nature, which is existence, consciousness, bliss. We experience bliss, we experience joy, because we experience our true essence. Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall" what? Yes, set you free. All right. Some people awaken spiritually without ever coming into contact with any meditation technique or any spiritual teaching. They may awaken simply because they can't stand the suffering anymore, right? Suffering seems to be one of those constants in life. Somewhere along our life's journey, we experience suffering. Suffering, I would think of as resistance to what is. It is not just experiencing pain, but it's the story we make up about the pain. It's feeling detached. It's feeling separate. I've tried this. I've tried to see if I could suffer while knowing I'm absolutely one with God and others. And I haven't been able to do that yet. Now, if I can separate my consciousness from the idea that I'm one with God and one with others, then I can suffer. Ooh, I can make it good, and I can come up with real good suffering stories to tell other people, and they can suffer with me, and we'll just have a great suffering party, and don't come to that party. But when we know oneness, when we know there's just only one power and one presence in our lives, active as the universe in our lives, God, the good omnipotence, when we really know that, we may still experience pain. We could experience, some grief or something else, but not suffering, because suffering has to do with that idea of separation, the idea of fear. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my own life. This particular lesson has gone through several revisions. So come next week if you want to hear more of it, because there's a whole lot more that I couldn't fit into today's service, You're getting about 1/3 of it. And I decided to share a little bit with you about my own personal story, not to lift me up, but just to share with you something about the awakening process. Now, understanding is the key to awakening. Understanding, knowing that we know, breaking through the veil of error and illusion, discovering that there's only oneness. That is awakening. Discovering there's only oneness. And when we discover that, we can live fully in the present. We're not living in the past. We're not trying to live in the future. We're being in the present now, the now moment, the I am presence. So, I don't even believe in age. People come up to me and ask me, what's your age? You know? And they say, based on the things you tell us you've done, let's see, they're trying to count it all up. And I'm like, I don't even believe in age. And it's just not, I'm not playing, you know. I don't even believe in age because I know that we are eternal. We are from the mind of God. And so I don't want other people to put limitations on me. You know, people who were born 10 years more recently than I was have told me, well, when you get to be my age, you won't be able to do such and such. And it's like, oh, really? I don't think so. Anyway, so when I was, just to give a point of reference, when I was just entering the teenage years, age 13, anyone remember 13? How was it? Okay, some of you awful, some not bad, you know. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought, wow, I can't wait to grow up so that I don't have to go to school all the time and I can just have all this free time like adults have. Anyway, so at age 13, really it started sooner than that. I started really questioning the meaning of life. I really started questioning if life had a point to it. It seemed so absurd. Now, there were probably numerous influences. There was a lot of commotion and trauma going on in my family of origin. And I was on a spiritual path, but I didn't know it. I mean, I was going through this emptying process, this process that was ripping me up inside. It was an opportunity for growth, for awareness, for awakening. But I didn't know it. I thought it was hell. And it felt like it. And so at age 13, I thought that God was a remote scientist that had us like rats just running through the maze and was detached and just watching. Like, oh, wow, look at that poor sucker. He's not going to make it. Next. I mean, that's really how I saw life, you know. And I was in this real fundamentalist conservative church, and usually twice on Sunday, at least twice on Sunday, usually we'd have an altar call, an evangelistic service. How many people here have ever been to an altar call? Wow, there's a few of you. Okay, let me explain this. Right at the front of the chapel, the church, it was a huge church. At that time, we'd probably have about 750 in attendance. And so there's these benches about this high, and they'd give this very strong evangelistic appeal and maybe sing about 8 or 10 verses of Just As I Am without one plea, you know, or Almost Persuaded. Or you may not know these songs, but we would sing them over and over. And these songs were about just this poignant being lost and needing God. And you could see on the back of the pews fingernail marks where people were holding on to the pew, you know. I mean, it'd be intense times. The minister would give us a sermon about, you know, someone was at an altar call and they decided not to go forward, and they got in their car afterwards and started driving home, and boom, they got hit by somebody. They died and went to hell. So, I mean, picture being a 12 or 13-year-old, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go to the altar. I don't know what I've done wrong, but it must be something bad. So, you know, I'd run up to the altar, and I'd be up there every Sunday, you know, as a regular customer, and these men would gather around us. I mean, that's how they did it this time, men with men, women with women, and these men would have thick Bibles as thick as telephone books, and they'd be pounding them, and they'd be pounding me on the back, and they'd be saying, give it up, Timmy, let it go, Timmy, or you're done with the sin business, Timmy. And, you know, when I was with some people here in Honolulu, I found a place called Sin. It's an actual business here. Yeah, I took a picture of it. I was asked if I would give up the sin business, but I found it. Anyway, So, it'd be this horrible time. I was just trying to experience oneness with God, and God seemed so far away. And the whole premise of the teaching in that church was separation. Ooh, we were born with original sin. They told me, Timmy, you were born with sin. Like, really? Before I even had a choice? Yeah. And now look at the choices you're making too, I just felt so lost. And it's like, this is the good news? And so I was just tortured. I was going through this real difficult time. And, I was reading all kinds of things. I was reading Sigmund Freud. This is starting at about age 12 or 13. I was trying to find meaning. I was reading Thomas Aquinas. At some point, I began reading Albert Camus. Anybody here know Albert Camus? Ooh, some French existentialist readers. Woo! Okay. So, in one of his, and sorry, part of this just gets a little heavy, so just, let's take a deep breath. Okay. So, Camus has this one book of essays called The Myth of Sisyphus and Other Essays. You know about Sisyphus? He was the guy that was condemned by the gods to be at the bottom of a mountain, and he's pushing a rock up to the top of the mountain. He's pushing until he gets to the top. Then the rock rolls all the way back down. Then he has to go back down and start all over. That's how life felt for me. I just felt lost. I thought, on the outside, people thought I was okay. And my family was distracted. There was other trauma and stuff going on in her family. And they thought, at least Timmy's doing okay. But they didn't know on the inside what was happening to me, that I was in hell, And sometimes I'd play the family clown. Sometimes I'd be the lost child. I'd take different roles on as we went along. But in the introduction to this book, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus says, the only true philosophical question is whether or not to commit suicide. And that's where I was at. That was my daily question. That's what I lived with every day, throughout the day. And even if I was, laughing or joking, it was still there. It was always going. It's like, how can I keep going? How can I keep hanging on? I'll put on a smile, but people didn't know what was going on inside of me. I eventually got tired of that whole altar call thing. Somewhat, it's like I finally got to the point where I felt like, oh, everything's okay. It's all right. Not going. No. Okay, went to this church camp in the mountains of Colorado. Any of you ever been in the mountains of Colorado? Yeah, can you feel the breeze coming down off the mountains? It's cool and crisp. You can hear the aspen leaves. It sounds like rain in the wind. And there's pine trees. Oh, it's gorgeous. So I was at this camp, and they had, guess what? An evangelistic service, an altar call. And I go, nope, everything's okay. And I felt this drawing, this pull from God. And I'm like, no, everything's okay. It's all right. No. But I just felt this pull. Come. No. Everything is all right. So I didn't go forward. But this pull, this drawing just kept increasing inside of me. It's like, what's going on here? And my best friend at the time was there at the camp. And I went to him and I said, I don't get it. I think everything's okay, but I just feel this drawing like from God, And he's like, why don't you just go and see what God wants? Really? Okay. So I went to the chapel. It was empty. It was dark. I went in there, and this was spontaneous. This doesn't have to happen this way for you. All of us are individualizations of the presence of God because there's only one power and one presence. And for me, the power of understanding came greatly through the power of revelation, through the power of direct experience. So I went into the chapel, and I was suddenly immersed in the presence of God. Immersed in it. And all I felt was love. All I felt was acceptance. there wasn't sin there, because there is no sin in God. How could there be? God is pure light, love. You know, and so I was just immersed in this presence, and then my best friend and his friends showed up, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. So I went out on the back porch. The moon was just coming up over those trees, over the aspen trees and the pine trees. Whew. And I was just immersed into this presence of oneness. I saw that there was only one presence. Really, only one presence. And somehow I still had existence and consciousness because I could experience it. And yet, there was no distinction between me and that. There was no me and that. It was all one. All that presence of God, all that love, all that life, all that beauty, I was completely immersed in it, and there was no difference or distinction or division. And it was without any dilution whatsoever. It was pure. It was like shaking me to my core. I was shaking. I was sobbing. I was like, wow. I had grown up with this idea of separation, and it's all a lie. That idea of separation is all a lie. Now, I do not put down this church. I love them. They help me. My family is still involved in that church. Some of them are watching me right now. I love you. I love you for all the ways in which you invested in my life, really. But, you know, I grew up in that church. I became a minister in that church. I went to their college. I went to their seminary. And when I went into their theology class, they said, okay, to learn our theology, you've first got to understand the underlying premise that underlies all of our theology. I'm thinking, God, Jesus, love, sin, separation from God. That was the foundation of the theology, and they were very upfront about it. I thought, well, that sucks. Anyway, what I've discovered is that it's all a lie. You know, in the beginning of Genesis, it says that God created male and female. God looked at them and said, it's good. It's very good. Right? So we are born with original blessing. We're not botched or blemished. We're original blessing. We're the presence of God in action. Psalms 139 says, wherever I go, you know, I can go to the depths of Sheol. You are there. I can go to the furthest reaches of the sea. You are there. Wherever we go, God is. There is no separation. Paul, speaking in Acts chapter 17, speaking on Areopagus to the philosophers that were gathered there, says, in God we live, move, and have our beingness. We're not separate. Come on. Let's get over that. But realize that our suffering comes when we think we're separate. When we think that there's someone or something against us. That we've got to defend ourselves somehow. So I was immersed in this presence of God, and you know, I went back to my high school. During that time in my life, I was not at church but at school. I was very, very quiet, very withdrawn. Well, when I went to school, I just had, you know, this euphoric trance thing that was going on for 2 years. I was just immersed in the presence of God, and sometimes I'd just be outside looking at the clouds, and kids would walk up to me and say, "You're stoned, aren't you?" I'd say, "No, I'm just fascinated with the beauty of the allness." "You're using drugs." I mean, because it seems so abnormal to experience the beauty of everything, to see the oneness of everything. They thought I had to be using drugs because I didn't see any separation. The truth is, I was being reverted back to the normal state. Yeah. So when we talk about living life as a practical mystic, first of all, nothing's more practical. Because when we know our oneness, then we know reality. We can be immersed in reality. I had to learn, okay, how do I function? How do I function in life? And that's a lifelong process. But when I look at you and look you in the eyes, I see the divine looking back upon me. That's what I see. I don't know what you see, but that's what I see. And I'm setting up a field, vibration in this field, so that your spirit begins to recognize the truth of that and resonate with it and say, oh my goodness, there's more to me than I realized. I'm not just Joe Blow stumbling through life. I'm the presence of God in action. This guy's trying to get us to wake up. And that's what this whole church is about, is an awakening process to realize who we really are. This last week, a very close friend of mine and mentor, Sister Marie Veronica, made her transition. And she was someone who always saw that in me, who always saw that divine in me. She saw me in some ups and downs. She saw me in some moments. Now, I'm not saying anything. No, I won't even go in there. I'll just say that she would come up to Olga Lucia and thank her for being in my life, because I had straightened up so much after Olga Lucia came into my life. Anyway, she was one of those, right? She was one of those people who just saw the divine in others. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to see the truth of each other. We're here to see the divine in each other. We're here to see oneness, to wake up, to come out of our anesthesia, to come out of our sleepwalking, and to see the divine that we really are. And we're here to wake each other up, here to wake up into magnificence. You are not called to mediocrity. You are called to magnificence. You are imprinted with the very voice, love, likeness, peace, presence that is God. All of God is fully present, living itself forth as you. And so you are no small stuff. You are not someone to take lightly. You are this presence of God in action. And that is what we are here to wake up to. And what I realize in this awakening process, because there's been numerous processes since then, is that love is the central key. Love is the key. That love is the presence of God in action. Love is what restores us to seeing from a unity point of view, seeing that we are one. That is why Jesus emphasized the two greatest commandments are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the key. If you ever wonder, how do I live as a practical mystic? How do I live in this world? If you remember one thing, remember love. Okay? Remember that Beatles song that all you need is love. Da 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 da. All you need is love. Da 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 da. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. So when you find yourself a little strung out this week, start to sing that, recognize your oneness, know who you really are, and be a practical mystic in this world. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
A new world calls across the ocean. A new world calls across the sky. A new world whispers in the shadow. Time to fly. Time to fly. about one moment, the moment before it all becomes clear. And at that one moment, you start to believe there's nothing to fear. It's about 1 second. And just when you're on the verge of success, the sky starts to change and the wind starts to blow. And oh, you're suddenly a stranger. There's no explaining who you are. And you didn't know that you sometimes have to go around an unexpected bend, and the road will end. A new world calls for me to follow. A new world waits for my reply. A new world holds me to a promise, standing by, standing by. It's about one moment, that moment you think you know where you stand, but in that one moment, the things that you're sure of slip from your hands, and you've got 1 second to try to be clear, to try to stand tall, but nothing's the same, and the wind starts to blow, and oh, you're suddenly a stranger. Your life is different than you planned, and you have to stay till you somehow find a way to be sure of what will be. Then you will be free in a new world, crashing down like thunder. A new world changing through the air. A new world just beyond the mountain, waiting there, waiting there. A new world shattering the silence. There's a new world I'm not afraid to see. A new world louder every moment. Come to me, come to me. A new world calls across the sky.
Thank you, Guy and the band and Alethea. Let's give them another hand. That was awesome. Hey, it's time for the offering. Woohoo! Some of you are like, well, okay. But this is a joyful time as we circulate and celebrate all the abundance in our lives. Circulate this abundance that we have been provided, knowing that we are circulating it, it returns to us 100-fold, knowing that we are investing in ministries of this church. And if you've been touched, if you've been ministered to by this church, then I encourage you to invest. This is an energy exchange. Eric Butterworth has a very interesting statement in his book, Spiritual Economics. Someday I'll teach that here. He says, money is God in motion. Money is God in motion. Isn't that interesting? So we're circulating that divine presence. We're not fearful of it. There's no lack of it. We celebrate it. We circulate it. And so as you take this to your heart, repeat after me. I give in joy. I have abundance. And I don't just hang on to it. I circulate it joyfully. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
I feel awake.
I think so. I've noticed something lately that I've never seen before. My neighbors are so thoughtful and my family loves me more.
There's music in the traffic and there's laughter in the air, and little beads of kindness everywhere. I feel excited like a king the first warm day in May, like something great is just about to happen any day.
The grass and trees and sky look different. The people passing by look different.
Now could it be the difference is in me? I think so.
Yes. Here you go.
I just can't wait to find out what each day will have in store. The things that were important aren't important anymore.
I found out what I value are the things I can't replace.
A happy home and sunshine on each face. Like yours.
A real night moving, knowing I have chosen to do right.
To know that all the past is done and I can sleep at night. My days are filled with simple pleasures, love and peace,
And other treasures, I believe
the difference is in me.
the people that I meet are different.
The taste of what I eat is different. I do believe the difference is in me. 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 The difference is in me.
That was awesome. Thank you. And we'll hear more about that next Sunday, about making that shift. Next Sunday, I'll be speaking about the hero's journey. Yeah. So as we extend our hands to this offering, we bless this offering in the consciousness, knowing it represents infinite substance of which there is no lack or limitation, knowing we are circulating the divine good as our lives, and we go from here to bless this world with love, light, and the presence of God. And we say together, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you. We have Keiki.
You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine. So let your light so shine. So let your light so shine. So let your light so shine. Light of the world.
All right, aloha and good afternoon, everyone. And while Reverend Tim was here giving a message on how practical is it to even be a mystic this day and age, our Keiki were having a lesson of their own, and I know that Bella wants to share with us, so come on, Bella, let it go.
God's love helps us make good decisions.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Would you like to share too? No? All right. Well, I think that you learned a lot because that is a big lesson, all in one day. I'm still learning that one, so I'm glad you got it. So Friends, let us just take this time to bless our children and our teachers with this affirmation, this statement of truth. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Reverend Tim.
Thank you. Let's give our KK and youth leaders another hand. And again, if you're new here or first time in a long time, feel free to come up. I'd love to meet you. The ushers will help you get to the front of the line. And it's just such a joy to have all of you here with us. Thanks for coming. Let's join hands together as we sing our peace song and then Aloha Oe. And the words are on the monitor behind me.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal.